Hello, everybody. Welcome to the session today called How Salesforce Manages Sales Productivity. This is a great session. We get to share with you how we run our programs here at Salesforce.com. My name is Eli Cohen, and I'm sitting here with Stephanie Gilmore and Teresa, who are going to work with us to make this presentation really impactful for all of you. I'm going to walk through some slides and as quickly as I can get into the application and show you how we run our sales productivity programs. Stephanie is going to show us a day in the life of Salesforce.com, and Teresa's here to answer questions. So feel free to send us your questions now as it happens, and she'll be available to answer them. Before we start, you know the obligatory safe harbor statement. We will be showing you, or we could potentially be talking about features that are not released. And if that's the case, please just be aware that any decision should be made based on features that are available today. And for our full safe harbor, I encourage you to go to our website and take a look at it. So with that, here's our agenda. Again, we're going to talk to you about how our business is structured. We're going to show you a day in the life demo. We are going to, really, talk about crowdsourcing best practices and really talk about and share with you some lessons that are learned. So, I'm pretty excited about this, and let's just jump right into it. I think it's important for folks to understand how we're structured as a company. And we have, a number of different sales organizations that work together all in the name of customer success. So we've got a sales development team of sales reps and what we call enterprise business reps. And these are the folks that will do our lead qualification and do our install base and do our prospecting. And then we also have, from a sales development perspective, a heavy reliance on our referral partners. And as we move across the chain here, you'll see that we also have a very strong focus on the SMB and mid-market sales, and you can see how we're segmented within our sales organization. And then we continue to move across the right-hand side, and we have a field sales organization that focuses both on the field and on industry specializations. And then we do have a global accounts team. And then from a customer success perspective, we also have a services organization, customer success managers, and support. The interesting thing here is everyone here needs to work together to ensure customer success. Now, from a programs perspective, the partners are going to help all of our sales organizations. Our sales engineering, which is our technical pre-sales group, will also help our entire sales organization. And down below here where you see sales productivity and sales ops, that's where Teresa, Stephanie, and I come into play. And we support the entire globe. We've got one central organization that has teams of people around the world. And we have a sales productivity hub here in San Francisco, one in Toronto. We have one in London, one in Dublin, one in Singapore, and in Tokyo. And that's how we're able to support our North American operations along with our global operations. So that gives you a sense of how we're structured. The first thing we did, so I've been in the role probably for a year and a half, been at Salesforce for about 5 years. And one of the first things we did when we kind of came together as a team and we kind of looked to see how our sales effectiveness and sales productivity programs were working, we said to ourselves, maybe we should rethink how we go to market and how we provide services to all of our constituents, which is all of our salespeople. So the very first thing we did was we created these communities. And we've got an account executive community, a sales engineering community, and you can see here the clouds that represent each one of our communities. And the main thing that we did with these communities was we use the app to drive communities. So we have, the content application has its own community, and we've got onboarding kits and sales kits and training plans and a calendar and weekly calls, and this is all very community focused. And we've also aligned and organized within the group to make sure that we've got folks that know exactly the community that they're focused on. So anytime we roll out training programs or anytime we, make changes to page layouts inside of Salesforce.com, getting kind of detailed there, but we really focus on the communities. Great. Let's keep going. From a metrics perspective, we tend to really be very focused on key metrics. And some of the metrics that are critical and that I measure myself and our team on are basically things that you think about, but we are able to measure all of these metrics and track them inside of Salesforce.com. That's the cool thing. And, we're looking at activity. We're looking at pipeline. We look at win rates. These are things that everyone talks about, but what I'm going to show you today is a number of dashboards that track all of these metrics in the context of Salesforce productivity. But what we also do, and which leverages our platform, and we've built a number of custom applications around, is we also focus on onboarding, and we've got metrics around kind of improving and reducing the amount of time, the ramp time for new people when we hire them, certifications. We were measuring content effectiveness, sales rep productivity. You know, on our recent earnings call, our CEO said that we're actively looking to hire a lot more salespeople in the coming year, and it's very interesting, but it also means that my group is very responsible for making sure that we can bring all these folks on in a timely fashion and make them successful. And, you know, we're also tracking app usage. So, you know, what you're going to see as I walk you through some of the dashboards to run the business, you'll see that we can correlate activity to pipeline to close business, and we can start trending within our sales organization during the onboarding process exactly which reps are going to be successful, which ones are not going to be successful based on their current behaviors, and we can make modifications accordingly. Again, please feel free to submit your questions, and Teresa is on the line with us, and she's answering them now. And any of the major questions that we think are important for everyone to hear, we'll answer at the very end. Well, let's keep going. This gives you a picture of all the different functions that the sales productivity team is responsible for. So we do all the onboarding, all the communication, all the training and certification. We develop all the sales tools, and we're also doing primary deal support for all of our salespeople around the world. It's a lot to do. And we are, from an organizational perspective, we do sit in the sales organization. And in some companies, a sales productivity team can sit in the product marketing group or it can sit in the sales organization. We made the decision about a year and a half ago that it made sense for us to be very closely aligned with sales. So you'll see that some of the things on this chart in front of you typically might fall on the marketing side, but it's something that this team is responsible for. Now, let me kind of get into some of the detail here. What you're seeing in front of you is what our sales onboarding program looks like. What we do is we take all of our new salespeople across all of the sales roles through a journey. Before they join the company, they receive an email with a link to a portal with a number of self-paced learning modules. So that way they can get started on the right foot. And before they're able to join our boot camp program, which is an intense 1 week, hands-on, roll your sleeves up, group exercises, it's pretty intense, 2 weeks actually. Before they're able to join, they need to complete the learning modules and complete a quiz and a mini certification test, just to make sure that they've absorbed the information, because we want to make the most out of that boot camp and certification process afterwards. And then the journey doesn't stop there. Then we take all of our salespeople through a 30, 60, 90-day ramp program, which spans 90 days, and then we finalize everything with a certification test. So let me show you. Let me go log into the application and give you a sense of how we manage this. So I'm logging into our actual application. This is how I use Salesforce.com. And, basically, concurrent requests have been, you got to love when that happens. Let's just go back here for a second. I might need to log out and log back in. That happens sometimes, and there's nothing I can do about that. So while we're doing that, let's just see if I'm just going to log in quickly. So this just shows you that I am actually logging into our main application, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we'll come back to this in a moment then. Seems like for whatever reason, the system just needs a little bit of a break. So from an onboarding and a ramp perspective, what you're looking at here is the dashboard. And this is the dashboard that lets me track exactly how I'm doing with regards to the productivity programs. I can see by rep where they are in the certification process. I can see the scores, so I can see it trended. I can see by role how many folks have completed the process, and I can also see who my top guns are for the month. It's pretty cool stuff. And not only am I able to track the activity of the program and the effectiveness of the program, I can then track the granularity, and what we do is we create a community. So this is a sample dashboard of the European community from a few months ago. And what you can see here is the dashboard is split into 3 areas. On the left-hand side is activities. So here is the tasks created, emails created, all the activity that you'd have and you'd expect a salesperson to manage inside of Salesforce.com. That shows you here how they, who the top leaders are within this specific community. And then we have in the middle, we've got pipeline created. And on the right-hand side, we've got quota achievement and closed business. So what we've been able to identify is hello. Okay. Switch headsets. Great. Not sure what happened there, folks. Seems like we're having a lot of technical issues today. Sorry about that. So again, this is the onboarding dashboard, and on the left-hand side, you can see. Guys, sorry. You can see. I'm going to go to the next slide. The other thing we do inside of Salesforce is we track all of our certification programs. So from a certification program perspective, we are certifying all of our salespeople on our real-time cloud deck. This is the equivalent of a first call deck. And here's a certification dashboard where you can see exactly how we're tracking all of the certifications. And we're doing this using custom objects. So we built a custom object on Force.com, and it's integrated with Salesforce. So now I can see exactly which salespeople have been certified, and I can see a correlation between certification and the sales reps that are hitting their numbers. Let's go back and see if the application is available now for us to jump in and do a quick little login. There we go. Always tried, tested, and true. So to show you some of those dashboards, so that way we can kind of bring this to life for you and leave the PowerPoint world and enter the real world of dashboards. Here's that dashboard that I showed you a moment ago that shows the sales boot camp and the grades and the feedback from our September class. It's pretty cool. I can see, who's been. I can see the drill down from a certification perspective. I can see the grades, and you saw this a few minutes ago, which is pretty good. And then the other thing that I want to show you is the 30, 60, 90-day program. So here's the 30, 60, 90-day success program, and this just uses the basic metrics I talked about a few minutes ago. We're going to look at activity, we're going to look at pipeline, and then we're going to look at closed business, and we're going to correlate the completed weekly activities with the pipeline leaderboard, with the closed business by account executive. And you can see that Justin Wilson here on the left-hand side has a lot of activity, so he's also doing very well, and he's at the top of the leaderboard. And what you can see here is that we create a number of these 30, 60, 90-day programs for all of our regions, for all of our sales segments as well. It's pretty compelling. And then what I want to do is show you one more dashboard that I think is really cool, and it's the real-time cloud certification. So we were challenged by our CEO last May, actually last March. He wrote a brand new first call deck to articulate to the world how we go to market and what's the value proposition of Salesforce.com. It's a fabulous deck. It's a great story. If you haven't seen it, you should go find it on YouTube. But don't mean to digress. But what we had to do was we had to take that message and we had to make sure that every single salesperson at Salesforce was able to articulate the same messages. So we had to scale a certification process across the entire sales organization very quickly. We had 30 days to train everyone. And you can see here that we're tracking this entire process. And we would not have been able to do the certification process if we didn't have a system to track it. So I can see that 94% of my account executives are certified, 82% of the field ones are, 84% of the folks in Japan, and we're always trailing because we're always hiring new salespeople, so we're always a little bit behind. But these are great statistics, and the fact that I'm able to see these stats and measure them inside of Salesforce is pretty impressive. So I'm really excited about the progress we've made, bringing to life a lot of sales productivity program elements that sits usually in spreadsheets or usually in folders, and that doesn't really come to life in the context of a true CRM application. And the last thing I want to do before I have Stephanie come in and show kind of a day in the life of what our account executives do is talk to you a little bit about sales process. And what we did last year as well was we created a success formula that has become a core element of our sales culture. And you can see here all the 7 steps. And what's happened is we have enforced with all of our salespeople through the application, through training, through executive broadcast, that pretty much if you're not following these 7 steps on a deal, that your chances of success is going to be a lot less. I'm not going to get into what each of these means, but for example, you can see at the bottom, show them the money. That pretty much articulates to our sales teams that, with every customer, you need to show the value and demonstrate the ROI that customers are going to appreciate with our Salesforce system. So what we did with this success formula was we launched a global broadcast. We had our CEO on stage with our presidents talking about the success formula. We had deal wins, deal reviews. The hard part here was creating what I call these silver bullets. And what a lot of people think is the hard part is the technology, but it's actually not. Like once we got these silver bullets, what Stephanie is going to show you is how we're able to bring these elements to life in the context of our sales methodology within the app. And this is something that just is now available to all of our salespeople. So we have a world now where everyone is talking the same language, and this has really helped our company from a productivity perspective. So with that, what I'd like to do is have Stephanie Gilmore join us and let her talk to us a little bit about what our account executives will see when they use Salesforce.com. So here you go, Steph.
Thanks, Eli. So what I'd like to go over today are just some of the different tools that we've brought to our sales organization over the past year. And so what I've got here is just a slide of some of the things that we've rolled out, and I'm going to cover the ones that are in red. So we're going to look at opportunities in those success fields that Eli just mentioned, sales coach, our account planning, organization, customer stories, all those things. So I'm not going to go over this in PowerPoint. I'm going to jump right into the application, and I'm going to show you what we have done for our reps. So what I've got right here is I'm actually logged in to our production instance of Salesforce. This is test data, though, and I am logged in as an account executive, so as a salesperson. And what Eli just mentioned was that success formula that we rolled out to our reps at the beginning of this year. And what we did when we rolled that out is we went into our opportunity and we really reevaluated the entire opportunity object and layout that our sales organization was seeing, because we didn't want to just push in new fields on an existing cluttered layout. What we really wanted to do is we wanted to make sure that our reps were actually going to be able to really use those new fields for how we've trained them to do it. So what we did was last February, March timeframe when we looked at the success formula is we went in, looked at our opportunity layout, evaluated usage against all the fields. I think we pulled about 40 fields from the layout, and we cleaned up the sections, and then we went in and we added this what you need to know to win section. So we've really taken that success formula that Eli just referenced, and we've added it into different fields down here. So as Eli mentioned, the technology was actually the easy part of this. It took us much longer to actually go through and figure out what we wanted to do with the formula and the methodology, and then we went in and we actually brought it to life in the application by just adding these new fields, and then we put help on them, and it's something that our salespeople use for their deals in the app. One of the other things that we did on opportunities more recently is actually called Sales Coach, and that also ties into our sales methodology. So what Sales Coach does is based on when you click this button here, it's going to pop open a window, and based on the region that you're located in, the type of rep that you are, so your market segment, and the stage of your deal, it's going to show you different questions that you should be able to answer to advance that deal. It's also going to give you links to different training materials to help you with this deal. So you'll notice that we've auto-populated the stage right here, so I can go in, and if I go in and change this from stage 1 to stage 4, you should have seen that the questions down here actually would change based on the stage, just as if I was to change my market segment or my region. So it's something that the sales organization can use. It's very easy. It's accessed right from the opportunity, and then we just click into content right from here. So it's all within the same place. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you that, and then we'll go ahead and close this window, and we will go on next to customer stories. So, and one thing that we want to note on Sales Coach is a lot of the functionality that I'm going to be showing to you today, we've had a lot of requests to put this out on the App Exchange. So Sales Coach should be available within the next few weeks, right before Christmas is what we're targeting for right now. So we would like to give that to all of you. So it should be on the App Exchange. So the next thing that we're going to look at is customer stories. So it's really powerful to be able to go into the application and look for customer stories or references right from just a tab in the application. So you don't have to send a mass email out to all of your reps to get these customer stories. We've actually loaded them into the system for them. So what we did is we created a tab, and we just have some filters on here. So a rep can very easily go in. They can do their filters to see what type of story that they want. They can see whether or not it's a referenceable story and click Find Story. So I did that right before we got on the call here, and I pulled up this one story. So you'll see that this is a story. It's Axiom Corporation. It's the Oracle Swap Out story. And what I've got here is very clearly as a rep, I can see that this has been approved for external use. It's okay to mention the customer's name, and it's okay to use it as a sales reference. So just do some pretty easy stuff in the application. We've gone in and we've actually it's pretty powerful. We've given the reps the ability to go in and find this information on their own. And really, as a rep, I could mention this to a customer and it'd be fine because it's all in the application. It's got all the detail that I need all in one location. So it's not like I have to go search around for this in multiple locations. The next thing that I wanted to show you, the next tool that we've built for the reps, is what we refer to as account family plans or account plans. And what this is it's just a custom object, and it's related to accounts. So I'll scroll down and show you what it's related to here. So it's a lookup from accounts. And it's pretty easy. We just relate accounts together by this account plan here, and it allows the rep to go in and tell us what their strategy is for the corporation. So you'll notice that there's this account plan overview section, and we don't have a lot of fields that we're asking our reps to keep track of. Or actually, it's just 5 or 6 fields there that we're asking them to keep populated and keep current. And it's those fields that we really want to make sure that our sales management team is using to manage the organization. From here, we also have what we're calling white space. So white space at Salesforce really allows us to see, based on all of our product lines, what products are being pitched to our customers, what products have they already purchased, what products have we identified a contact on. So for all of the accounts associated with this plan, I actually have a white space. So this is the white space object here. It was accessible from that button. And you'll notice on the left-hand side, we've got the list of accounts, and those actually match all the list of accounts associated with the plan. And what I've done using Visualforce is I'm actually auto-populating these boxes. So if I scroll over, you'll notice that there's a bunch of different colors and different boxes here. So I'm auto-populating based on product line, so it's actually the products on those opportunities, whether or not there's an open opportunity, for this example, open SFA opportunity on this account, whether or not licenses have been sold. So this is actually when we've delivered service to a customer. I can see if there's a competitor stronghold, and I can actually, if I had populated the competitor on the deal, it would show up here, as well as an identified contact, or if the licenses have attrited. So it's just really quick, nice, one view for the rep and for the manager to go to see what's happening at a set of accounts, all in one location. The other nice thing that we've got here is the ability to edit it from this screen, or you can edit it from the account record. So what we're trying to really do for our reps is we're never trying to ask them to enter the same information in more than one location. What we're saying is if you keep your opportunities up to date, we'll go ahead and we'll populate this information for you, and this will be accurate information. And because of that, we're also saying we'll make sure that our entitlement information, so our licenses that have been sold, we'll make sure that that's accurate. So we're not asking them to keep an opportunity accurate, an account fields accurate, and a white space accurate. We're just saying, do your job, do your day in the life, normal day in the life, and we'll take care of the rest. We're not going to make you duplicate any effort. So those are the few things that I wanted to show you today. I think Eli's going to jump back on and show you content and then finish up the presentation. Thank you.
Wow, that was great. I always love when you go in and show what the world looks like from one of our own salespeople. It's pretty cool what we've been able to build into the application for our salespeople and our sales executives to be able to manage the business. Now, we've seen a lot of questions have come forward, and thanks again to Teresa for kind of diligently getting all the answers. And let me just touch on some of them. First off, again, to emphasize, the sales coach that Stephanie showed will be available on the App Exchange sometime in the next few weeks. We're also going to release the Customer Stories app on the App Exchange as well, probably in the January timeframe. And then there was another question around how do we build this certification. And the whole certification object is a custom object, and all the reports that we built are also custom reports that we built, and we're also going to release the certification object. So, in very short order, you're going to have access to the Sales Coach, Customer Stories app, along with the certification app, so you can bring these best practices into your own sales organizations. There was another question that came up. I think some folks are really keen on understanding more information about Chatter. We're going to deal with Chatter on other calls, and Chatter is a very exciting new feature that we released. I encourage you to go check out on YouTube some information on that. We also, let me just think if there are any other questions we're just getting. Oh, yeah. So another question was, how was success created? So let me kind of just back up and just kind of show you success again, because I've spoken to a lot of companies around the world, and this is what folks really want to get to. So we spent a month, pretty much 3 people, full-time, 1 month. We interviewed all of our top performers, all of our global sales leaders, and, we interviewed some of our bottom performers too to figure out why they're not selling. And we extracted from all their minds their best practices. And then we literally on a room for about a week and just brainstormed because we wanted something memorable. We wanted something impactful. And then we took this formula on the road and we shared it with all the regions. And then we shared what it means, and we shared some of the mock-ups from the new opportunity pages that Stephanie showed you, and then we also shared the sales coach. So over a month period, we're able to distill the essence of our sales bullets, of our silver bullets, and really make that come to life. And then it all culminated in our annual sales kickoff. So the timing was perfect. So our kickoff was in February last year. We did all of our homework in January, and then boom, we were ready to go in the February timeframe to kick the year off very strong. So that's the hard part. The hard part is talking to the reps and really drilling into why they're selling and what their successes is, and then bringing it to life and finding the right nomenclature that fits your culture. We have some more questions. So how do we get reps to use the app? That's clearly, we're not immune to adoption issues, and we continue to try and find. Well, first of all, we do have a culture, just like we tell all of our customers, if it's not in Salesforce, it didn't happen. So let's just kind of level set that. But when our top down, when our CEO does his forecast calls with his presidents, and when the presidents do their forecast calls with their vice presidents, and when they do it with their regions and the regions with the AEs, everyone is doing it in the app. So everyone has a dashboard, and you don't want to be one of those account executives that doesn't have an opportunity form filled out properly. You don't want to be that person because, our CEO and our sales leaders are always looking in the application. Now, what we've also done, though, is we have built a number of really cool value-add tools. Sales Coach has dramatically improved rep logging in and filling in, because now they're motivated to update the stage, because if they update the stage and they get to the Sales Coach and they get to the right level, and then, it's kind of this, if you give it information, then it's going to give you something back. We have something else that we have created just to kind of further talk about how and some of the best practices. You can see here on this chart, we've got competitive alerts. So we use workflow a lot inside of Salesforce and with our sales teams. So whenever a salesperson we have a field called competitor. So whenever a salesperson fills in a competitor on a deal, boom, they get an email note that says, here's a link, here's information, and here's how you can sell against this competitor with some really good tools over and above what's in the sales coach. Then if they're at a flag, God forbid, if they're at a flag that they're behind competition, then they get another notification that says, hey, do you want a war room? Do you want to help? Like, how can we help you? So, we're using alerts very smartly. So now salespeople know when they fill in a field, people are watching and people are there to help. And that's been kind of a big learning. We've also added in a bunch of other tools, like a deal support custom object. We added an executive briefing tool. So these are value-add tools for our sales team. So it's not just about tools for managers to manage. It's also tools for AEs or account executives to manage their book of business better. The other thing I wanted to show you inside of Salesforce is our content application, and we live in it a lot, and we're using the content application tremendously, and it's a great tool for us within Salesforce to be able to publish marketing collateral, publish sales tools to all of our different constituents inside of Salesforce. And I'm going to go search. I'm going to search for the presentation that I'm going through right now. So as a salesperson, I log in, I can search for a keyword or a tag or whatever I need, and I can get to the PowerPoint presentation pretty easily. I can also get to this from the sales coach, but what I want to do is just give you a quick glimpse. Most of our customers and most of our prospects aren't aware of the power of the integrated content application, and here it is. And it also leverages kind of really cool community aspects. So first of all, you can see that you can rate it, thumbs up or thumbs down. So great feedback mechanism for our team and also for our marketing organizations. You can download it. You can subscribe to it. So that way, anytime anyone makes an update, you get a subscription. So now I've automatically subscribed to this. I can also, and this is the really cool thing, as a salesperson, I can flip through the PowerPoint. So I don't need to download this thing. I don't need to wait for the downloads. I can check comments to see what other salespeople think. And then from a management perspective, meaning the sales productivity team, is able to view downloads and the number of subscribers. So on a regular basis, we're constantly reviewing all of our sales tools. And if things aren't being used, we know it, and then we can either pull them out of the library or we can go back to the author and find out why this thing isn't being used. Maybe it hasn't been publicized. Maybe it's not value added anymore to our salespeople. Any other questions at all? Let me think. There's a lot we could do here. And again, please send us your feedback. If there are other areas that I didn't touch on that you want to talk about, things like forecasting best practices, those are additional topics that we would love to talk about and go through with all of you. The other thing that I wanted to talk about today is a concept called crowdsourcing best practices. And a lot of you are probably familiar with the concept of crowdsourcing, which is basically going to your community and getting ideas to help drive programs. And we have a lot of companies around the world that are doing this. Dell is using this with their customers, and Starbucks is doing this with their customers. But, we do it internally. And I want to give you an example of a program that we ran. So our technical sales engineers, we just recently ran a summit. We had, hundreds of technical sales engineers come to San Francisco around our Dreamforce event to participate in a global summit. And what we did was we decided, rather than kind of do a top-down, here are the topics, this is what we want to teach you, we opened it up to the community. And the community was able to give us feedback. So we were able to build, 24-plus sessions, 3 tracks, 1,000 votes, hundreds of ideas. And you can see here just some pictures of what it looks like. But let me just go show it to you. So as a sales engineer, I now feel like I'm being listened to. And this is a great best practice for all of you. I encourage you to leverage the ideas application at a minimum to get feedback from your different users in your community. So here's the sales engineering idea site. You can see we use this a lot. We have a lot of sites up there. And then let's just go to categories. So here are all the categories. There's the SC Summit sessions. So I'm just going to go in, and this is the Ideas application. Again, this is available to any customer. Ideas is included in all of our licenses, so it's pretty cool. And I can see that the top idea is our sales engineers wanted some discussion and topics around advanced charting for compelling demos. And here I can see this thing has been promoted, and it's got 750 points. And I can look and see at all the other sessions. Let's have a competitive session. How about more Salesforce branded swag? Anyway, you can get a sense here but it's cool. This is what builds culture. This is what builds community, and this is what makes different constituents feel heard inside your organization. So we have a community for every one of our sales roles. We have a sales rep community, an account executive community, a customer success community, and this is a way for all of our internal people to meet in a place that is theirs and share ideas and give each other feedback. Again, another key part of our sales program and a key element of our sales productivity success here at Salesforce. Now, the other thing we did was, I don't know if some of you noticed, but we decided to reach out to all of you and kind of see if any of you wanted to share your best practices. And I encourage you to continue to do so. But we posted a little ad on Twitter that basically, not an ad, I tweeted. Yeah, I always laugh whenever I say that word. I went on Twitter, which I tweet pretty regularly, and I offered a $25 gift certificate to Amazon.com for anyone that wants to come forward and share with us a best practice that they have in their sales organization. In Decision Point, Tom Barber, who's a great Salesforce friend, been a customer for a while, shared with us, I'm going to just quote, for long sales cycles, create an opportunity stage on hold. Pretty interesting, with a forecast category exclusion and a close date way in the future. This way, you're able to keep deals in the pipe, but at least they don't fall through the cracks. And I think that's a pretty good best practice. And again, thank you, Tom, for sharing that one with us. And then another one, Aprivo, which is another customer and partner of ours, they use workflow rules to identify open opportunities with a close date in the past, and then they generate emails asking the owners to close it. It's pretty cool. We do this as well. We call this a push counter, which I think is a very similar concept. Anytime one of our salespeople pushes an opportunity, we keep track of that inside of the application. So if I have a salesperson that pushes the close date out 30 days once, they push it out 60 days, all of a sudden, as a manager, I see the number of times that thing's been pushed. So, that's a similar concept to this one, but this one is kind of cool. So basically, we're using workflow to generate an email to push the close date, to give notification to someone if the close date is in the past. And that's a great best practice. So I want to definitely thank those two folks for sharing with us some of their best practices. Again, we definitely have a lot more to share, and I'm going to give you our contact information at the end, but wanted to just summarize with some key learnings that we've experienced here. And I think you saw when you logged into the application, and we showed you some of our applications and some of our screens, but less is more. I can't tell you, one of the things Stephanie did about a year ago was when we launched the success formula and really kind of updated our methodology was get rid of a lot of old fields that were just not being used. So, I think less is more when it comes to real estate on the screen and making reps fill in things. Stay close to your community. Use the idea site to generate ideas and to really get a sense of what's important to them. And again, we're surveying our communities all the time, and that's why we've got application. That's why the apps we built are pretty much in sync with what our sales teams need. And again, we're looking forward to sharing with you the Customer Stories app, the Sales Coach on the App Exchange very, very shortly. We shadow top performers and bottom performers all the time. We empower sales leaders with metrics. So, we're definitely leveraging the weekly dashboard email alerts that go out. There's something that doesn't happen at Salesforce that happens at a lot of other companies. We're not emailing Excel spreadsheets around of lists of reports. That everything is in the app. And that's a top-down, bottoms-up, disciplined approach to the way we manage the business. And again, we do drive everything in the app. Keep the app clean, purge what you don't need, and use workflow like I gave you the example of the competitive alerts. These are just some of the best practices that we've learned over the time. Now, for all of you on the call, we're going to take a few more questions and see if there are any. But if you do want to kind of stay part of the dialogue, we have a blog. Definitely we've got the Salesforce blogs, which are really focused on. You can just go to off our Salesforce.com site and find it. I've got a personal blog. You can follow me on Twitter. We're going to continue the sales productivity push, and we're going to really drive best practices. And I want to hear from all of you that are customers, and hear from you that are prospects to share with us what's working or not working in your business. And let's use these mediums. Let's use the blogs. Let's use Twitter to drive a good community of sales productivity experts to help you drive success inside of your businesses. We're going to take a couple more questions. So one of the questions that came up is, I think the question is, do we use Google Docs? And, we do use Google Docs. We use it as a great way to share PowerPoints, to collaborate on projects inside of Salesforce. And we don't use it as a way to keep track of accounts and contacts. That's a no-no. But, if I need to keep track of a to-do list across a team of people, we've got Google Docs is turned on as a tab inside of Salesforce, and it's a great productivity tool that we endorse and we use heavily inside of Salesforce. Any other questions that we have that we should talk about? Well, listen, this has been great. I, again, apologize for the technical snafu at the beginning, but it seems like we've got everything back on track. Stay in contact and let us know how we can help you drive sales productivity success inside of your companies. And, oh, by the way, this is a recorded session, and it will be available for public use, and you can share it with folks in your team. So we're going to make this URL available to you. It's going to be available on YouTube and off of the Salesforce channels from our website. So, again, thank you very much. Signing off from Stephanie, Teresa, and Eli. Thanks, everyone.